Morning students, today we are going to start a new chapter called probability. This is the last chapter of our NCERT book. In this chapter, today we are going to start the chapter probability with an introduction. So in our everyday life, we come across statements such as, it will probably rain today. I doubt that he will pass the test. Most probably, Kavita will stand first in annual examination. Chances are high that the price of diesel will go up, and even there is a 50-50 chance of India winning a toss in today's match. These words, probable, doubt, most probable, chances, are used in statements which have an element of uncertainty. That means we do not know exactly whether these things are going to happen or not. We can only assume and expect that it can happen, but we cannot tell for certainty that it is going to happen. For example, in example 1, the word probably rain will mean that it may rain or it might not rain today. We are predicting rain today based on our past experiences. Suppose it is a cloudy day and we can only assume, seeing the cloud, that whether it will rain or not. Even if it's a cloud that contains rain, the dark black clouds, but we cannot say for certainty that with that clouds there is going to be rain. So similar predictions are also made from the rest of the example we can see. The uncertainty of probably, etc. can be measured numerically by means of probability in many cases. So these chances of probability we can assume or we can measure them with a mathematics, and that branch is called probability. So while this probability, this chapter, we have some important terms. Those important terms are trial and event. These are the two important terms that we first come across. Trial is an action which results in one or several outcomes. That means, suppose we are flipping a coin and the trials are possible outcomes, that is, whether we are going to have a head or a tail. Or if we take another example, suppose in a bag and it contains 3 different colored balls. One is red, one is black, one is white. So the several outcomes can be, either we pick up ball which is red in color, or we pick up a ball which is white in color, or we pick up a ball which is black in color. So these outcomes, assumed outcomes, are the trials, and it is an action. Event for an experiment is the collection of some outcomes of the experiment. Event means we have the collection of these outcomes. That means, suppose from a bag the collection of outcomes will be, we can pick up 3 different color balls. Or if we are flipping a coin, the collection of outcomes will be, either we are going to get a head or we are going to get a tail. So these are the events. And the mathematical expression to find the probability of an event is this one. Let n be the total number of trials. Here n stands for the total number of trials. Suppose flipping a coin, the total number of trials will be 2, as we are going to get 2 possible outcomes. One is head and the other one is tail. Another example that I have given was the bag containing 3 different color balls. So the possible outcomes will be 3 different color balls, red, white and black. So number of trials will be 3. And the empirical formula PE, probability of the event, PE stands for probability This P stands for probability and E stands for event. So probability of an event happening, event is E, happening is number of trials in which the event happened by total number of trials. So this is the mathematical expression to find the probability. Some points to remember. Now these are the very important points which you are going to need for not only in class 9 but as well as for class 10. The points are: the probability of each event will always lie between 0 and 1. It cannot be 2, it cannot be -1. It should lie between 0 and 1 and all the possible fractions and decimals between 0 and 1. The sum of all the probability is 1. Suppose we have more than one probability, like the example that I have given in a bag containing 3 different balls. There will be 3 different probabilities if we consider the colors. For red, the probability suppose be PE1. For white, PE2. And suppose for black the probability is PE3. So if we add all these 3, this should come to 1, always 1. So the total probability is always 1. Okay, then we have the probability of an event which occurs, which does not occur, is 0. So impossible event which does not occur is 0. Such an event is always called as impossible events. Number 4, the probability of an event which is sure to occur, that means it is going to happen. If I take the example of the balls, 3 colors I have mentioned: red, white and black, but we do not have the color blue. So if I tell you find the probability to pick up a ball which is blue in color, which is not possible, so such an event is an impossible event. But if I tell you to find a ball which is red in color or white in color or black in color, which is in the bag, then such an event is called sure event or certain event. That means it is certain to happen. So such an event is called sure event or certain event. Now, this is a universal truth, point number 5. In general, it is true that for an event, PE bar is equals to 1 minus PE. PE bar, or we also call it as PE prime. This too means the event which is not happening or occurring. If E is the event which is occurring, then PE bar or E prime is the event which is not occurring. So the event E bar representing not E is called complementary of an event. Also, E and E bar are complementary to each other. That means, suppose out of 100, if I tell you 20% of the student came to school, so the event occurring is 20%. Then what is the event that is not occurring? Rest, that is 100 minus 20, which is equals to 80. So 80% of the event is not occurring. That means it is our E bar or E prime. And 20 is our E. That means the number of students that is coming to school out of 100 is 20. So that means these students are coming, means occurring. The event is occurring. So whenever it is occurring, we denote it with the capital letter of E. But if it is not occurring, then we denote it with a capital letter E with a bar on it or a prime on it. And these two, E and E bar, are complementary to each other. Now let us see few examples. Here in example 1, a die is thrown 1000 times with a frequency of outcomes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 in the following table. So in the table, the outcomes of a dice is given, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. and their frequency or the number of times they are occurring is also given. Find the probability of getting each of the outcomes. So we have to find the probability of outcome just 1, then just 2, then just 3, just 4, just 5 and just 6. So we have taken EI and denoted as the outcome that we want. That is our desired outcome. So the probability of outcome 1 is E1. Frequency of E1 means the number of times E1 is occurring, or the dice with 1 is occurring. And total number of times the dice is thrown, it is already given in the question. You can see it is 1000. Or else if we add all these frequency, we will get 1000. So 179 by 1000 is equals to 0.179. 0.179 is the probability of occurring the outcome 1. Then similarly, E2 will be 150 by 1000. E3 will be 157 by 1000. E4 will be 149 by 1000. E5 will be 175 by 1000. And E6 will be 190 by 1000. So their respective decimals we are getting. So you can see that the probability of getting each outcome is achieved, which are E1, E2, E3, E4, E5 and E6. Now if we see, I have already mentioned in point to remember that if we have multiple outcomes, all the sum of the probabilities should add up and should give us 1. That means here in this case there are multiple outcomes, 6 different outcomes we are getting. So if we add this up, we should get 1. Add the probabilities up. So we should add, if we add E1, E2, E3, E4, E5 and E6, that means if we add 0.179 plus 0.15 plus 0.157 plus 0.149 plus 0.175 and plus 0.19, it should be equal to absolutely 1. That means sum of all the probabilities that we have got should add up and give 1, and it is 1. So if you count all the numbers, if you add them up, you will get exactly 1, not a single decimal more than 1. So this is our one of the example that I have shown with our 1 point to remember. Now I am going to show you another point to remember where I have said it is an universal truth that PE plus PE prime is equals to 1. That means our 5th point to remember. So let us see the question. The record of a weather station shows that 250 consecutive days its weather forecasts are correct to 175 times. What is the probability that on that given day it is correct? What is the probability that it was not correct on the given day? So the total number of probability is 250. P, first we are going to find the probability that it is correct. So number of times it is correct is given 170 in the question, 175 in the question. The last line of the question, it says its weather forecast were correct 175 times out of 250. So correct forecast will be 175 out of 250, that is 0.7. So our first part is done. Second part, what is the probability that it is not correct? Not correct means we have to subtract 250 minus 175, then only we will get the not correct days, which is 75. So the probability will be 75 by total number of record. So 75 by 250, which is equals to 0.3. So now you can see that we have the forecast which is correct. this is the forecast which is correct and this is the forecast which is incorrect. That means this is equals to PE and this is equals to PE prime or PE bar. We are commonly using bar, so we will use bar only, PE bar. So if we add these two up, we should get 1. So you can see 0.7 plus 0.3 is equals to 1. So we have seen that if we add a probability which is occurring to a probability which is not occurring, it should be equals to 1, or vice versa. We can also say that probability which is not occurring is equals to probability which is not occurring is equals to 1 minus probability which is occurring. So these two are the very important point to remember for probability. That is our point number. That is our point number 2. Sum of all the probability is 1, and our point number 5. So with this, we conclude our introduction for probability. I hope this short tutorial is helpful. Thank you.